now a 10.
Another car comes barreling through the intersection, and thankfully my boyfriend moved out of the way, but the gentleman did get hit.
A family shaken up tonight, reeling after watching a man die on Utah roads. Why local advocates say the street setup in Rose Park could be partly to blame. Plus a new documentary shedding light on the unsettling dangers of phones and computer games for kids. What parents could risk if internet predators get what they want. And the latest in a string of odd incidents at the Dallas Zoo. Why a case of missing monkeys is leaving zoo officials and investigators scratching their heads.
Live from Utah's first TV station, ABC4 News celebrates 75 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. We thank you for joining us here tonight. A man is dead after being hit by two separate vehicles within a matter of minutes. And now a nonprofit is demanding the city do something about it. ABC4's Courtney Johns joining us live from 12th West and 6th North, where the incident happened. Courtney.
Yeah, Emily, police say the victim was using this crosswalk right behind me when they say a car turned onto 6th North, hitting the man. And shortly after that, the driver gets out to help the man, and they say a second car drove exactly in that same area, hitting the man again. Tonight, we are hearing from a family who watched all of this happen.
Trauma's awful. It's not fun, and it's hard to get past. But just remind them to not get stuck in it, and we're going to work past it.
Jody Cooper says her boyfriend and her children were driving to school when the first vehicle hit the man. When her boyfriend got out of the car, she said a second car came by, hitting that man again and a bystander. The nonprofit advocacy organization Sweet Streets says having 5 lanes on this road makes it extremely dangerous for people trying to cross. They say the city needs to do something about this immediately by repainting traffic lines or using barricades to create a temporary lane closure, saying the outside lanes could easily be devoted to just bus lanes with just a little paint. While the city has been looking into this for a few years now, Sweet Street says we can't afford to wait any longer.
They've already said this is what we're going to do eventually. And sure, going out with a bucket of paint and some cones isn't ideal, but we can do it, and we can do it now.
Mayor Aaron Mendenhall's office was not available for comment this afternoon, but they did tell us that this is a priority, making our streets safer, making these upgrades, adding that this is exactly what she talked about during her State of the City address just last week. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Courtney Johns, ABC4 News.
Courtney, thank you. 19 elk found dead near Spanish Fork Canyon. The culprit, wildlife officials say it's a tree known as yew. Now, according to the horticulturist at Mill Creek Gardens, the yew has been used as a decorative plant all around the world for hundreds of years. Utah doesn't have its own native shrub, but the European and Japanese yews are commonly used in people's yards here. Almost every part of the plant is poisonous, containing a toxin called cytotoxin.
So that's what we suspect killed all 19 of those elk.
Experts say animals know not to eat it, but in this case, they believe the animals are just so desperate for food, they'll eat whatever they can find.
And these freezing temperatures prompting extra shelters be open for people who need it to escape the cold. Salt Lake County and Salt Lake City have partnered together to open an emergency shelter at the Central City Rec Center. It's run by volunteers as well as staff and advocates who've been out on the streets helping people move indoors.
When it is as biting cold as it is now, we need to do everything we can do to get people inside.
The temporary shelter will be open for the next few days as the continuing biting cold holds on. Mayor Wilson saying they will monitor conditions to see if they need to extend it.
Time now for a first look at the weather forecast. We are getting a break from the storms, but not that bitter cold.
Nope, that bitter cold's holding on, Alana.
Yeah, it's unseasonably cold, and we've been dealing with these frigid temperatures for days, and it holds on into tonight. This morning, sub-zero, and we saw those temperatures really drop. This is how cold it was in Summit County. Check it out. This is boiling water that gets thrown into the air. Thanks to Kim and Matt for sending this to us. It immediately evaporates into water vapor, condenses, and then becomes a cloud. And that's what you saw. That's why I had to show you. It looks like it's snowing there, but that's actually a cloud. That only happens when you've got that frigid air, and we have cold air tonight. It's only 2 degrees in Logan, but above zero, minus 13 in Vernal, temperatures of 21 in Salt Lake, teens in Provo. We do have sub-zero over in Milford and single digits over in the West Desert. Now, this is cold enough, but the wind chill has been wicked the last couple of days, and it still is in portions of the state, including Cache Valley, where it feels like minus 10. The real feel, minus 6 in Evanston, minus 19 in Vernal, Milford, Green River, Price. Really cold air, and now the eastern side of the state has gotten into the mix. We do have a wind chill warning in effect. It's for Cache Valley. We scaled back a little bit on our warnings, but we still have this one that's going to hold through tomorrow morning. We're looking at wind chills between minus 10 and minus 20 up there in Cache Valley as we head out tomorrow morning. So really cold conditions. High pressure is in control, which is why we get a break from the storms. We do have just a little bit of a disturbance that's showing just some light snow showers right there near the state line. Nothing coming down on the cameras. We're watching it, but we know it's very, very cold in that area. That little disturbance will come through, and then we get quieter conditions. We have other threats that come with our high pressure and when to expect those temperatures to rebound coming up in my full forecast in just a few moments. Glenn, Emily, over to you.
Thank you, Alana. New at 10, the last video taken by a now missing man, helping deputies track down his truck. But tonight, Austin Manson could still be out in the cold. Manson's wife releasing this video saying this short clip and a phone call last Thursday marked the last time loved ones had heard from him. Sevier, Garfield, and Paiute County Sheriff's offices using the ridge line in this video to find his truck on Mount Dutton in southern Utah. But they say it was left abandoned. Search and rescue continuing to scour the area for the man today, but say the cold and strong winds forced them to stop that search.
And in Salt Lake County, a man behind bars could be the key to solving a 28-year-old cold case out of California. The FBI and police out of Concord announcing the arrest of a truck driver living in Utah. 55-year-old James Grimsley, now a suspect in the 1994 murder of 28-year-old Terry Ladwig. Our affiliate station in the Bay Area brought the news of this major breakthrough to Ladwig's friend in an exclusive interview.
I never thought it was going to be solved. I screamed over the phone.
Brittany Shores was friends with Ladwig back in the 90s. She says the two could relate, both identifying as trans women. At this time, police say they have not ruled this out as a possible hate crime.
Did you know? Did you know she was trans? I know she was tied up with a telephone cord. What was you thinking about?
Releasing limited details on how they connected Grimsley to her murder. Tonight, he remains in Utah, held on a $1 million bond. Police hope to bring him back to the county where Ladwig was found dead.
New developments in an interstate kidnapping case. Accused online predator Aaron Zeman officially facing state and federal charges. The 26-year-old Arizona man charged in Davis County Court today on 11 counts, including kidnapping and sexually exploiting a minor. These add to a federal charge of kidnapping with intent to engage in criminal sexual activity. Local prosecutors charging Zeman just over a month after an Amber Alert for a missing 13-year-old Layton boy sparked a cross-state search. Nebraska police finding the teen in Zeman's car 12 hours away from the child's home.
And a Utah nonprofit dedicated to fighting child sex trafficking takes the battle to new mediums, a documentary film.
Operation Underground Railroad releasing it today. The documentary, It's Happening Right Here, takes viewers behind the scenes, showing just how law enforcement and nonprofits like OUR work together to catch child predators. Experts say they find a common through line in most cases.
It mostly deals with online stuff because that's where it's happening. That's how it's happening, mostly in this country, in every country. But you're not going to see what we see in other kind of developing countries where it's more in the open, it's more transparent. It's very not transparent.
Those behind the film say understanding the worst can happen in our own backyard is the first step to making sure it doesn't. Coming up, President Biden planning to end 2 COVID national emergencies that were declared at the start of the pandemic.
And a major ice storm tightening its grip on the middle of the country, canceling at least 1,000 flights so far. We'll have more on the extreme weather when we come back.
And there's that live look outside from the ABC4 Colonial Flag Tower camera. It's cold, 21 degrees. It feels cold. It's been a couple days with this frigid air. When we can expect temperatures to rebound, and what about moisture? Does it ever return? Answers in Utah's most accurate forecast.